is basically the biggest network of startup founders worldwide. In total, we connect more than 3 million startup founders all around the world. We have chapters in more than 600 cities and are present in more than 125 different countries. So it's really global, and we try to connect all kinds of people globally and try to help them to work and build on their dreams. You can see some pictures. So even in the US, Startup Grind is really huge, and they get the biggest speakers which you can ask for. And what we do is 3 different things. First, we want to connect. So we not only want to do networking, but we really want to connect people and let them share ideas and let them help each other. The second is we want to inspire. As today, we try to search for experienced speakers who have experienced a lot and then go to our stages and share their wisdom and their knowledge. And the last thing is we want to educate. So at each event, at the end, we have a Q&A section that you can ask the speaker about your problems, about your questions, and basically learn something which is really hands-on and can help you in building your company or following your passion. We have different values. The first is give first. So you should always talk about what can you provide to the community and how can you help people in your community to achieve their goals. The second is try to make friends. It's not about exchanging some business cards, but it's more about coming together as one huge community. And the last is help others. What about Startup Grind here in China? So Startup Grind is huge in China. If you only look at this map, you can see there are over 22 active chapters right now in all big cities. And it's really impressive how Startup Grind here in China grows right now. And there are a lot of opportunities. So if you're not living in Nanjing, you can just look at this map and maybe you find a chapter more close to you. And I would encourage you to join other chapters as well, go to their events, and maybe in the future, you can also contribute yourself. But now let's talk shortly about Startup Grind Nanjing. We have right now more than 1,000 members. We have done more than 30 offline and online events. And at these events, we had more than 750 attendees. And we are relatively young. So we just founded 2018. And with COVID, this was a clear setback. But now we try to recover and build up our community in Nanjing again, but also try to connect to other startup brand chapters around Nanjing. In the past, we had a lot of interesting and inspiring speakers. One example is Kane from Intel. We had Brian Tam, who is also a founder from Shanghai, or Jackie Wang, which is a famous VC, also right now based in Shanghai. We have a lot of different partners. We had InnoSpace, we had Slush, we had Commune, and hopefully in the future, we can find more partners who help us to do incredible online and offline events. Right now, we searching for some support for our team, because right now it's basically just me as a director and Willi as my co-director. So if you want to be part of these events and find interesting speakers and present them to our community, work on our community, then please just get in touch and maybe we can find a role for you and you help us to inspire more people. But that's basically all about Startup Grind. Now we come to the main part, the reason you turned in today. And we have a really great speaker with Larry. He has so much experience. He's publishing in all the big media companies or players. He talks about this in business schools, but I think in the end, he can explain better what he's done in the past. And then he will share his screen and give you a short presentation about how you can develop your career in this fast-moving, difficult times and find your own competitive advantage which will help you to achieve what you want to achieve in your life. So thank you so much, Larry, for being here, and the stage is yours.
All right, Lucas and Willie, thank you so much. Okay, I'm going to put up my screen. And first of all, yeah, big shout out to SG Nanjing for, you know, inviting me. And, you know, for me, you know, I really just enjoy these opportunities to try to share whatever insights and tips I can to help you pursue and achieve your career development. So today's topic is on developing your career, particularly in uncertain and fast moving, or we could say changing times, which, you know, we could say is the world we live in these days. And my whole approach is a very kind of self-development, hands-on approach to, you know, your driving and managing your own learning and development. All right. So I think the way that tonight is going to work is I have maybe about, I don't know, 30 minutes of sharing that I've prepared. And so I have a PPT. Lucas and Willie are the co-host. I think they have a few questions just to kind of warm up the Q&A part, right? Kind of related to tonight's topic. And then we're going to just open it up to everybody. And Lucas and Willie will help me sort out the questions. I believe you can save your questions to the end, or you can type them into the chat, and we'll collect them for the end. All right. So here we go. So the first thing, you know, I think most of us know this expression VUCA, right? It stands for, you know, the world we live in today: volatile, uncertain, complex, ambiguous. Now, this actually, the term has been around for a long time, maybe over 20 years. I will teach you a new one. At least it was new to me. I learned it maybe about 3 or 4 months ago. But have you guys ever heard of, now they say it's a tuna world. So if you learn anything tonight, you'll learn a new expression. It's a tuna world. Okay. Anybody heard of that, or like have an idea of what that is? Okay. Well, you know, here's what it stands for. Actually, two of the ones, the U, uncertain and ambiguous, are the same, but the other two stand for, the T is turbulent, right? Turbulent, you know, more turbulent, more also similar to volatile. But the one that's interesting is novel. Novel means new, never before seen, original. Like, and COVID is a great example. COVID is a great example. Like, the world has never seen this or encountered this. So basically, you know, that we're facing changes and challenges that, you know, it's not just new to our company or our industry. If our industry is in a downturn or a slowing period of growth, or our company, but, you know, something that, you know, everybody is trying to figure out together. And so the expression that you also hear this, it's called the new normal. All right. So one of the things, you know, I always like to ask people when it comes to career development. So when we talk about the good times or the tough times or the challenging times, the question is, when is a better time to accelerate your career development? To accelerate it, right? Okay. Is it in good times, or is it in the tough times or difficult times? Okay. Now, you know, most of this is, sorry about that, you know, me sharing. But if I were to ask you like that, all right, I'm going to use MBA style. I'm just going to call on people, you know, just randomly. Taylor, I'm looking straight at you. So when you see that question, do you mind if I ask you, like, you know, when is a better time to accelerate your career development, in good times or in tough times? What would you say? A microphone? Your microphone? Yeah.
Hello,
there you
can
go.
you hear me?
We do. Yeah, great. Welcome,
Oh,
Taylor. Yeah.
I mean, for me, it's been my experience that uncertain times kind of helps. I know that my
Yeah.
company has kind of benefited from that. A lot of companies have, right? I think we're reading a lot of articles about how a lot of Wall Street, a lot of the companies on the Fortune 500 have grown
Yeah.
rather than shrinked. So, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Yeah, Taylor. Tez, well, Tez is on a shuttle. More sure. Do you mind just off the top of your head, what would you say? In good times or in difficult times? Microphone, also microphone. Yeah. Okay. All right. Don't get the microphone. Bronwyn, you care to, just whatever comes to mind. Tough times or good times? Yeah.
I would think good times, because that's the time when people have money. So it would be good to accelerate it so that it can help grow.
Yeah, yeah. All right. Well, I tell you what, we only have about 30 minutes or so, but I would say this, I mean, good times, right? Exactly what you say. When the wind's blowing, there are more opportunity, there's more spending. And so, that's a pretty good time. But most people, and I have this fascination with career success. So I talk to a lot of people who achieve it at a high level. And then I'm always interested in what are they doing better, or what are they doing more of, or what is their situation? But most of them will tell you that it's actually in difficult times or tougher times. And here's the reason why. It's kind of like, what Taylor said, right? It's like, first of all, in difficult times, there are more business challenges for the business, right? That challenges, that companies need to do things differently. They need to do things better. They need to kind of figure more things out, right? They maybe need to pivot. It's not business as usual, right? So it's creating these challenges, and challenges are opportunities, right? Another reason is that when there are difficult times, there is pressure, right? It is stressful. So there's more urgency, you could say, or focus to do things, right? Get things done, right? Because if you don't do something, then you might fail, right? And then again, that urgency to develop new skills, come up with new solutions. But basically, in difficult times, certainly good times, it's easier, and it's not a bad time, but most people will find that there are more opportunities. What you do in difficult times are more impressive, right? Because a lot of people are wait and see. A lot of people are kind of nervous and uncertain, right? So they're kind of slowing down or being less active. But if you can be more active during these times to deliver solutions and things, it's going to stand out. And so it is a great time for your learning and development. Now, I want to give you an example of this, of like turning a big challenge or a really difficult time into an opportunity. All right. So this is a woman, and one of the things I'll mention a brief introduction in a sec, but I've written some books, and this is a woman I met about 20 years ago. At that time, she was maybe in her early 30s or mid 30s. Her name is Vivian Hong, and how she turned a big challenge into opportunity. So her situation was, and again, this was about year 2000. So most of you were probably in kindergarten or elementary school. I'm of a different generation, so I was in my mid-career, okay? But this was when, around 2000, when the internet bubble globally burst. And what that meant was that a lot of these B2C, e-commerce, B2B models, okay, they were too advanced for the time. It wasn't the time yet. So a lot of these business models were failing. And one of the companies that was experiencing this was Alibaba. So this was before Alibaba was Alibaba, right? But they, at that time in 2000, they did raise some money, and then they were just trying to ride out this period where, people weren't spending money on these platforms, okay? So here was the situation that Vivian faced. She was 28 years old. Like a lot of people, she wanted to get on the rocket ship, which was the internet, because the internet was being hyped in a huge way. And then all of a sudden people said, put the brakes on. Nope, it's not happening, okay? So what happened was a lot of the senior executives in her company started leaving. She was based in Shanghai, and the VPs and the GMs and the directors and senior managers left. She was 28. She was hired as a manager, right? Alibaba, is based in Hangzhou, but the Shanghai office was reduced to 7 staff. And she was made the acting GM at 28 years old. And she didn't have a lot of leadership, okay? So if you were in a similar situation, what would you do, okay? All these other very experienced, talented people were leaving. Well, here's what Vivian did. She decided to stay, okay? And her whole orientation was this. She decided that, hey, this is a chance for me to do things that I haven't done before, right? I didn't create this situation. I don't know what's going to happen to the future of the industry or the company, but I'm going to get a chance to do things like, for one, the leadership role, to try to motivate the team, build the team, et cetera. In addition, the company needs to, again, it has urgency to develop its services, its products, its platform, right? So she has a chance to get directly involved. And as the person in charge of Shanghai, she's going to get a lot of support from home office. And you can imagine the company in this situation, her interaction with top management, including Jack Ma. And this was before Jack Ma was Jack Ma, right? So her whole evaluation of the situation is that, listen, it's just a chance for me to do things. No matter what happens, I'm going to learn and grow a lot, okay? Like that. And she just simplified the situation in that way. And that I can build up capabilities, experience and achievements. And so here's what happened. During this period, the next 2 years, she developed her leadership, and again, the company needed this team and was driving a lot of product development and developing of the services of the company. And so her team was a part of that, and she was a key player in that. And so slowly, the industry started getting more mature and more developed. Everything, like both the users were getting more familiar with e-commerce and B2C, but also what the companies were offering was more user-friendly and have higher value. So after 2 years, the office grew to 84 staff, and she was made full-time GM in a 2-year period, okay? So I just want to frame a situation. This is easily could be a abandoned ship situation. There's nothing here for me, which a lot of people felt and left. But here is Vivian taking a crisis, really, and a huge challenge, big uncertainty, and turning it into an opportunity, okay? So what I want to share with you, and again, in using Vivian to kind of frame the situation, again, is, and Vivian used a lot of the kind of principles and concepts, is a practical approach that I've developed over the years, meeting people like Vivian and understanding how she achieved her career success. This is called a PLSD approach, a practical learning and skills development approach. I designed this approach to really help people empower them, right? To help them with their ability to drive and manage your own learning and development. Not what is provided to you, not what is offered to you, but going out and really trying to, leverage whatever situation you're in, okay? And in a big way, that means taking advantage of the resources, the people and opportunities around you. One of the things that Vivian told me is like, well, the key thing was that there were a lot of people still in the company that I could learn from. Right? Because a lot of internet companies, they attract people from like the P&Gs and the Coca-Colas and the Nikes and the Apples and things like that. And so, and then plus, there's Jack Ma and things like that. So she's kind of assessing, well, at least whatever I do, I'm going to be doing it with very outstanding, excellent people that I can learn from, okay? And then another big thing of PLSD, the whole idea, very entrepreneurial. A lot of you are entrepreneurs. Lucas, you're an entrepreneur, but just we just have the whole mindset to just get what we need. Not just for our business though, but also for our career development and our future success, okay? So I do this kind of whole PLSD thing. It's based on my 25 years in the talent industry. I've run a recruitment company for many years, worked with many top companies. And then the last 4 years plus, I do training, I do workshops and coaching. I happen to have written books, not that I set out to do it, but, I was talking to so many people and, they were sharing with me their challenges, and a lot of them were just repeated over and over again. And then also a lot of employers, what they were looking for in terms of top talents. And so 2 big things that they indicated was people who have a sense of, their career development and what it takes to deliver value, and pursue a successful career. I call it career success IQ, or CSIQ. And then in a big way, soft skills. You see this maze here, this Migong. Unfortunately, it represents too many people, young, talented, hardworking, self-motivated people, but somehow they can't achieve the success they deserve and that they're capable of. Why? Because they lack career sense. You know, they're making bad moves and getting themselves into situations that aren't delivering what they expect, you know, like that. A little bit about me. In addition to the books I've written, the companies I've run, even for myself, if you know my background, I'm actually a mechanical engineer by training. Back in my day, by the way, they didn't have gel. Gel wasn't a thing. So my hair was like also my hat, you know, it just kind of sat on my head. My first job, 5.5 years, was actually as an R&D engineer. I used to sit at a computer, do CAD design like this, you know? Yeah. And, you know, you can't tell this is not a good example, but I used to work for Mattel, a toy company, and I used to design toys for a living. I'm a Chinese guy, you know, so I'm good at math and science, right? But I didn't have any connection with it. I happened to go to China. This was in the mid 80s. I'm not going to tell you exactly, but you can do the math and kind of get a sense of how old I am. But I had kind of an awakening where I decided that I was wasting my time in this engineering position because I have no passion for it. I have no desire to be great at it. And I decided I wanted to, you know, have an impact on the world and very idealistic. But the inspiration came from coming to China. And then I decided, I went back to the US after the China trip. That's my grandmother, by the way, and that's in Dunhuang. And I quit my job and I decided to pursue a business career, right? But just to say that from a career development standpoint, I was good technically, I'm good analytically, I was good at project management, but my whole EQ, communication skills, people skills, business sense, big picture perspective, leadership skills were almost non-existent. So just to say, I was not part of a leadership development training program. I've never taken a course on communications. I basically developed a lot of my soft skills on the job by just being more proactive. And so I developed this PLSD approach. It has certain principles, habits, and insights, but that will help you accelerate the development for your career development, soft skills and leadership, to build the knowledge and expertise, skills and capabilities that you need ultimately to make bigger contributions and have deliver higher impact and value in whatever you do, whatever role you have, whatever industry. A couple of quick elements I'm going to mention is that, you know, in the PLSD, I emphasize in a big way is more ownership for your success, your development and success, your career, your responsibility. All right. Another one is stronger self-awareness, right? That I'm on a platform. A platform is just an environment of resources, of people, of situations and opportunities. What you get out of it, a lot of it depends on what you pursue or what you get involved in. And so a big thing that PLSD emphasizes is these things, being proactive. A lot of this has to do with mindset, your attitude and mindset, okay? The second thing, that if you're going to do something that's going to be very practical, it should emphasize, you know, 3 things to me, right? Number one, it's very straightforward. It just makes sense. It's very straightforward, makes sense. It's very simple. It's easy to do or apply. And then it's effective, meaning you can feel the impact or you can feel the benefit of it right away. So basically, you know, PLSD, easy to understand, easy to remember, easy to apply. Any person basically can apply it in any situation. This self-development approach. All right. Now, I'm going to share with you some insights. Now, one of the things, whenever you want to do something, if you want to do something well, understand it well first. The first thing I'm going to do is frame career development and success, particularly in tough times. All right. So I want to share with you a few PLSD insights about developing your career in tough times. All right. Here's the first one. It's a tough time, but you know, a lot of people get caught up in what's going on now, but a big thing to understand is that your future depends on what you do today. Meaning there's also going to be a future. That's a reality. You might think today, right now, what I experience is reality, but there's a future that will come, that will become reality. And the big question is, how prepared are you going to be when that reality comes, when things pick up again, when there are more opportunities to attract and capture those opportunities, right? That's important because a lot of people just think, well, it's too difficult. I'll wait and see. I'll wait till things get better, okay? Yeah. Meanwhile, other people are using this period, right, to, again, build up skills and capabilities, achievements, knowledge and expertise, so that, you know, a year from now, 2 years, 5 years from now, they got more to offer. They got more value to provide any situation that they're a part of and any opportunity that comes up. Another key is you take it all with you. You take it all with you means, in Vivian's case, she didn't know if anything she did, the products or services were going to be successful. She didn't know if Alibaba was going to be successful. And certainly I've met so many people on platforms that have failed. But what they did was impressive in their role, right? Yeah, the leadership, again, that they were directly involved in, building business, developing the market and things like that. But whatever achievements you have, even during difficult times, as long as the quality of what you do is really good, the marketing or the sales or the BD, the product development, then you're going to get credit for that, right? And those are your stories and the things that you share when you are encountering better times and opportunities, okay? So that's a big picture. So again, the most important thing is to have that self-awareness that actually this is a good time to build capabilities and achievements, and that this will help me have a brighter future. All right. Okay. The other thing I want to share is a couple just very simple principles, PLSD principles. So principles are just like universal, right? They apply no matter what your situation. One I've mentioned quite a bit, the whole word mindset. Mindset is everything, right? And so the whole idea, how you view the situation you face is really up to you, okay? You can even look at it as an overwhelming challenge. Oh my God, the sky is falling. Oh, I don't have, what we have now is less than what we had before. Or you could look at it as a new opportunity. So what's the opportunity in a challenge? Well, very simply, like this, people who overcome tough situations to be successful, the impressive ones, they are able to recognize that, again, well, sorry, I'm kind of a little bit, the people that are in these difficult situations, their mindset, their ability to overcome tough situations, their mindset is kind of like this. Number one, no victim complex. They're not blaming the company, their boss, the market, COVID and things like that, they're part of that reality. They feel it, but they don't, they take accountability for their situation. If anything is good going to happen, I'm going to drive it, right? Two, they do things with purpose. In the case of Vivian, her purpose is, I'm 28 years old. I have a long way to go in my career. This is a time for me to invest in my future, to try to work with good people and to learn, develop myself and improve, okay? And then the third thing, I think a big thing, as a business person, we always want to assess a situation, but some people tend to overthink it. Vivian's assessment is, I'm in a quality situation with quality people, right? I'm going to get some support. They've identified me as the leader of this office, so I'm just going to do the best I can. And she just comes to work every day. What do you need me to do? How can I support the success of the business and my team members, right? And then they just kind of find ways to, get what they made to make more out of less. Again, a very entrepreneurial, straightforward mindset. Yeah. Okay. Another principle, a very simple one, is that opportunities are all around you, right? So if you're in, no matter whatever company or job situation you're in, You have opportunities to, the company, the department, your team needs to research or understand things better, right? Because things are changing. Maybe it's putting together, providing key information to others. Maybe it's responding to critical needs, or improving or developing a process or a new resource, organize something, supporting somebody else's success, or just identifying new opportunities. But when people say, well, there were no opportunities, there were less opportunities, I really just ask them, is that really true? Is that really true? Because if you really think about it, if the company is going through tough times, then again, there's more challenges and urgencies to do things. I want to give you, in these, like in your career development, the last PLSD thing I want to share with you before I give kind of an example. And right now, like, I know I'm sharing a lot of concepts and sharing a lot of kind of framing things, but, again, mindset is so important, how you view things, right? Like that. But one thing I'll say, like, let's talk about habits. I'm going to share with you 3 habits that I would describe as game changers that change your learning curve from here and development curve to here. And so to the question, the people that are able to go higher faster, right, and take advantage of even difficult times to accelerate their development and attain greater success, what are they doing better and more of than others? Okay, so they basically do these 3 things. Are you ready? And they're very straightforward, okay? But you need to just practice them and recognize their importance, okay? So here are the PLSD habits. Number 1, in any situation you're in, ask more questions. Asking questions is an amazing way to learn quickly, right? And very efficiently and effectively. Engage others more, right? And then just to get more involved, right? So these situations, okay? So again, one of the things, I do a lot of training on career development workshops, right? Okay. But what I try to help people do is how to learn how to ask good questions to the right people. It's extremely empowering. It's very powerful. Just think about that. Asking good questions, things that are going to be beneficial and helpful to you, to people who do well what you want to do well, or are very successful at something that you want to be more successful at, right? Think about how powerful that is, right? Like that. We're going to practice that in a few moments, okay? All right, now I'm going to give you an example how I did this to accelerate my career early in my career. After I left my job, I went and got an MBA, and my first job out of an MBA was with a company called Wang Computers, okay? It was a technology company. I come from a manufacturing background, but this was me. I was part of a management trainee class, an incoming class, okay? There were about 50 management trainees, and I was just one of 50. During that time, the company was going through a severe downturn. So here was the situation. This was a new company for me, a new industry, and a new job function. I was a management trainee, but my role was going to be as a marketing specialist. And I come from an R&D background. So again, EQ was not that good. I was there for 3.5 years, doing a 5-year period, slightly before and after. The company business dropped from $3 billion US to 500 million, and from 330,000 employees to 5,000. So clearly, this wasn't a situation that was offering all these great opportunities based on growth and based on the budget. I think Bronwyn said, yeah, companies have more money to spend. It was the opposite. They were just cutting budgets. There were a lot of Black Fridays, okay? At first, I was very depressed because here I come out of my MBA and I want to, pursue my business career, right? Like that. But the sky is falling, right? The industry is going through a severe transition, significant from hardware to software emphasis. And Wang Computers is a hardware company, right? But, it needs to become more of a software company, okay? So here's what I decided to do. At first, I was depressed, and then I was disappointed, and then I was upset, but eventually I just got myself together and I said, well, I'm still in a quality environment. There's still a fantastic a platform of business resources, best practices, and talented people, very outstanding in what they do, whether it's sales or marketing or BD or product development. Okay, so anyways, what I decided to do was not feel sorry for myself, and what I did was I was in a marketing specialist role where I was sitting in Boston, and I would respond to emails from Asia Pacific to support the sales and marketing team of a product called WIS. You don't have to know what it is, but the company used to call it the product of the future. It was a software product. So it was a big way for the company to transition from a hardware company to software. So it was a new product for the company. So what I did was I decided to develop an FAQ document, a frequently asked questions document that supported the company's product of the future. Now, I'm not from this industry. I'm new to the company. I'm new to the job function. I come up with 101 questions. The document I put together was called 101 Most Often Asked Questions About WIS. Okay, I don't know the answer to a single one of these questions. So I have to seek out the answer to every single of these questions from other people in the company. I had to go approach R&D people, systems engineers, pre-sales, post-sales, again, key account, BD people, marketing, all types of people. So this is what I would do. And I would approach them and I would ask them questions about this product, and I would present the question to them and they would give me the response or answer. Okay, I put this document together, and here's what happened. After about 2 months, it took me to put together, I got an email from, say, somebody in Hong Kong, ask a question, I sent them the answer, and I said, by the way, I have this FAQ, 101 Most Often Asked Questions About WIS. And I said, it has the answers to 100 other questions that might be beneficial for your team or for your client. And I sent it out. After a month, the document was being circulated throughout the company, right? Yeah, it was being used not only for Asia Pacific, but for Europe, for the United States. After another month, my name is known throughout the company, like that. And I'm just a management trainee, a low-level person, right? And so at that time, the EVP, there are only 3 in the company, he comes to me and he says, Larry, I've been hearing good things about you. Now you have to understand, there are only 3 EVPs in this company. Between him and me, there's EVP, him, VP, Senior Director, Director, Senior Manager, Manager, Larry. So now he comes to me and says, Larry, come and talk to me. And I says, that's great. How's it going? Yeah. And I said, well, I joined the company to go to Asia Pacific and stuff like that. And so he made that happen in a downturn where the company is reluctant to spend money. But because I showed this value that he felt was very impressive, because number one, nobody asked me to do it. I took the initiative. 2, I was very resourceful. I was results driven. I was very solutions oriented, right? So I produced this document. But again, nobody provided me with anything. I was just part of an environment that what I needed was available to me. So I just, this whole get what you need and just figure it out and things like that. And so it was a real turning point for me in my career, because I realized that I could actually drive and pursue the things that were important to me. And a great concept for success is support what's important to others to achieve what's important to you, right? I wanted to develop my knowledge. I wanted to build up my business sense, but also my soft skills, my communication skills, my people skills. And through this project that, providing this FAQ document, which would help people understand this key product better, I was able to do all these things, but I wasn't focused on what I wanted for myself. I was purposeful, but I knew that this was a great way for me to get up to speed on the product, get to know the company, people in the company better, etc. So anyways, a couple of takeaways is, in difficult times, you stand out to others just by being proactive and solutions oriented. You are somebody who's staying positive and actually being proactive to make something positive happen, because in tough times, a lot of people, rightfully so, are nervous, are scared, are worried. They're wait and see, right? But here I was just trying to do whatever I could, you know? And then again, I kind of recognized that, hey, through the process of trying to support the success of the company, of other people, you know, whatever, you know, I do will benefit me more than anybody else. That's an important takeaway, because a lot of people's like, why should I work so hard for a company that I don't even know if it's going to be part of my future? Why should I work so hard for this guy who I don't even like that much? You know, again, whatever you do, you'll take it all with you and it benefits you more than anybody else. Okay. Now, I'm just going to spend the next 10 minutes going through this, like I do an entire workshop on getting information, key information from others and learning from others quickly. So I have this 3-step approach. It's 3-step approach to getting key information from others. Okay. Step number 1. And again, anybody can apply it to any situation. Very simple. Okay. Who can you ask? Who can you ask? So as an example, you guys are here to learn about career development. So I'm a pretty good person to ask, right? Who else can you ask about career development? What are key success factors? Some of the things that will have a bigger impact on your success, whether that's skills or opportunities. How do you create opportunities, right? How do you stand out rise above the crowd? How do you catch the attention of top executives or your top management, right? Okay. Yeah. How do you, for communication skills? I mean, who can you ask to learn how to do things better or know something better? Okay. Right. So a lot of people, they think, well, I don't really know that many people, but you're part of a company. I was part of a company, I have a department. It's not just the people there, but I use that 6 degrees of separation. I would start with asking my colleagues, do you happen to know anybody in the R&D department? And they say, yeah, well, this guy. And then I say, well, do you mind if I use your name and I can approach him? And so they say, sure. I said, then I contact somebody in the R&D department. I said, hey, John, I'm a colleague of John, and he mentioned you. I'm putting together a FAQ. I'm looking for somebody who can give me an expert answer that's very technical. Is there somebody in your department who would be the best person to approach to get that answer? And then they would say, well, the top guy in our team is, Casey or something like that. Okay. But anyways, the resources that you have access to, leaders, your colleagues, clients, even service providers. By the way, I include clients and service because they're related to your business, but then also people outside your company, again, using that 6 degrees of separation, right? Ex-colleagues, classmates, alumni, relatives, friends of friends, right? So you might not know somebody, but you can ask your friends if they know somebody, right? Like that, okay? So that's number 1, identifying people that you can approach and pick their brain. Then it's about how you get them to talk to you. I'll give you a very simple example. How do I get top executives or very outstanding people to talk to me? Well, there's something called you give them a value proposition. So in my case, I would go to people and go, my name is Larry. I'm just a junior person. You don't really know me, but I'm putting together this document of FAQ, that will have expert answers that will be the document will be passed to the sales and marketing team in Asia Pacific, like the entire organization. So I'd like to, ask you if you could provide, help me provide the, a really reliable, high quality answer. And by the way, in doing that, definitely I'll put your name on the document as the source of this answer. And people like that because it raises their profile, because it's an expert document. So immediately there's a connection between what they do and their excellence with this document. And I said, and by the way, the value proposition is the benefit versus the cost. That's a value proposition, right? Instead of just sending them a message like, here's the question, could you answer it? I say, listen, I will just ask you the question and you will just share with me and I will write up the answer. And then I will share it with you and you just edit it or confirm with me if this is accurate. So I minimize their time and effort. That's called a value proposition. That's how you get top executives or really outstanding people to talk to you, you know, provide them something they want. In my case, a lot of people, it was the recognition beyond their team and beyond their department, right? Like that, okay? And then the last one is, of course, you know, what do you want to ask them? What do you want to ask them, all right? You're in a room, well, we can use Jack Ma. If you're in a room with Jack Ma and he's got 30 minutes, and basically he's just showing up because you asked him, it's like, by the way, I'm wondering if I could pick your brain about e-commerce, and he got some time, he shows up. What are you going to ask him? The quality of your questions will determine the quality of what you learn completely, right? Like that. So we're just going to take a few minutes before we go to the Q&A. Here's what we're going to do, okay? The topic is career development, since that's why we're here, okay? I want 10 questions. I want 10 questions, and if we have Q&A, maybe I'll even have time to answer them. What are the questions that will provide the most benefit to you, that would really help you in helping you develop your career, pursue your success, deal with your situation? All right. Again, maybe you can type them in. You can type them in, or you can just open up your microphone and share. Who wants to start? Lucas, I think you have, and Willie have some questions prepared, but I just like, you know, push yourself. I can give you a really great, insightful, high quality answer, but only if you ask me, you know, what it is, what I want to know.
Sir, I want to ask a question. And like you said, lots of thing about opportunity, but sometimes even we have lots of opportunity around us, but we cannot determine it. So how we can think differently that we can grip all opportunities in our life that is inside of us?
Say what one more time. Could you say that one more time? I apologize. Yeah, you said I talk a lot about opportunities, but how do we? Your question again?
Okay, my question is, like in our life, there are lots of opportunities.
Yes.
But majority of people, we cannot determine it. That there's no opportunity inside us.
Yes.
So how we can get, or how we can like fix the opportunities in our life?
Okay. Fix opportunities in your life. Okay. All right.
Yes, sir.
Yes. By the way, I'm not going to answer them right now, but we can come back to this. Okay. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Another question. Somebody else give me a question. Willie, do you got a question?
I do.
Tez?
I do.
Yeah, go ahead.
I actually do. And it goes in line with Monsieur. I hope I'm pronouncing your name correctly. How sometimes we can differentiate, I would put it this way. Sometimes we might believe we have an opportunity presented to us, but then we realize it might be a trap. Power of decision. How can we actually be confident enough to move forward, to pursue something, and when should we think about it and actually think no? Sometimes a step back will push you forward. So when can we try to identify this moment? I think that would be
so that's a big thing, you know, like again, I know a lot of people who work very hard, but they're in situations that are kind of wasting their time. They're putting a lot of effort, right, and time into it. So how do you avoid situations that are going to waste your time, or even dealing with people like that? Yeah, that's great. Yeah, absolutely. And the people that tend to have learning curves like this, somehow they're able to avoid better than others those bad situations or situations that waste their time. Yeah. So their judgment and decision making is a lot better. Yeah, like that. That's a great question. Tez, do you got a question?
Any changes you have made to your business model during the pandemic?
Yeah. Changes to business model. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. What other question? Great.
Yes, one question from my side, from the startup point of view. So the culture in a startup or in a corporate is really different. How does this cultural difference has an impact on how you should think about your career development and what kind of skills and abilities you need to succeed?
Yes, culture in startup and what skills, capabilities to succeed. Great. In a startup, particularly the startup, environment. Okay. Who else? Keep them coming. Who else got one?
Is it important to choose your career related to a degree?
Okay. Yes, that's a common question I get. Great question. Degree and career, right? The connection. Does it need to be connected, right? Another question. What else can I help you with? That's the thing about approaching people and asking them questions. They're going to show up basically just to respond to whatever it is you want to know. Think how powerful that is. Listen, if I send you this book, it's a great book. It's on career development, but you might be particularly interested in leadership or communication. You're going to have to read the whole book, right? As opposed to you have 30 minutes with me. All your questions can be very targeted to exactly what you want to know. Yeah, like that. Yeah. So I always tell people that asking good questions to the right people is the most effective, efficient way to learn. Taylor, I saw you were ready and I kept talking.
Oh.
Yeah.
No, actually give me more time to think about how to phrase it. You had kind of mentioned earlier about a transition point in your career,
Yes.
moreover to business, and how you felt like your EQ was a little bit low. What would you say are some kind of outside of professional development? What are some personal things you felt that you had to work on in order to kind of correlate better success on the professional side? If that makes sense.
It does, and there's something that immediately comes to mind. So we'll work on that. I'll share with you. Yeah. Okay. I need 4 more. Somebody else. Anybody? Bronwyn, Dobie, Jojo, Zita. Anybody else?
I kind of have another one.
Taylor, go for it, man. Yeah, absolutely.
I don't know if this is too general, because I think this is something maybe a lot of people in this chat can relate to. Well, I don't know. I find myself pretty introverted, and you kind of talked about kind of the challenges that kind of prevent you from kind of moving forward. And I've always felt one of my biggest challenges is networking. And what are if you have any advice for people who are just like extremely introverted on how they can better like network? I think this is the first workshop I've attended. I always make plans to attend, but then I never really do. So I'm kind of like curious on if you have any advice on that.
Yeah.
Networking for introverted people.
I do, because believe it or not, like I said, early in my career and life, I was very shy, and I would say I lacked confidence. And, so I can talk to that, maybe I come across as a person who's very confident. Yeah, I'm older. I've had a lot of experience, but I didn't start out that way. But one thing I want to say before I ask for the next question, Taylor, if you did not tell me you were introverted, I would never know it. You are very charming. You have a lot of energy that's very positive. I would not even have a thought about that, so just to encourage you in that way. Absolutely. I think everybody here would say the same thing. You got a great smile. You look, you speak, you're articulate. Really good. Yeah. Who else? Okay. Another question.
Larry, we have a question from the chat from Dope. How can I change my job mindset to a career mindset?
Yeah. To change a job. Absolutely. That's a great question. I always tell people, okay, think platform, not just job, think opportunity, not just job, right? If you view it as a job, that's what you'll get, a job. It's going to be tasks, it's going to be like, salary, you're going to, responsibilities. When I talk to people that are more successful, what they look for is not a job. They look for an opportunity, There's a huge difference, like that. But that's a great topic. 2 more. If you ask, maybe I can respond to you, give you your answers. Yeah.
what's your definition of success?
Definition, absolutely, absolutely. Definition of success. Yeah, that's a great question. I think honestly, that question, it all starts with that. There's a concept. You ever heard of the book, 7 Habits of Highly Effective People? It's a Bible for career development. Yeah, there is one of the 7 habits is start with the end in mind, right?
Yep.
You start with what kind of success are you really going for? Is it money? Is it title? Is it recognition? Work-life balance, meaning? Is it impact? You know, what is the success that really matters to you the most, right? I mean, a lot of times it's a combination of those, but if you were to prioritize, you know, very, very important question to answer. We call that self-awareness, right? What you care about, you know? By the way, just since I'm talking about it, I always tell people, job choices, career moves, or career choices, job moves are not about right or wrong. They're not about good or bad. You know, it's all relative to your personality, to your interest, to your definition of success, your career objectives, you know, how you view success like that. Yeah. All right. Okay. Last question. Anyone want to throw in there?
We have another question from Zita
Yes.
Young. Why didn't you choose to live in your case of downturn situation? Meaning, what factors to determine the career change choice? What are the factors that would determine the career change choice?
Okay, so related to career change, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I tell you what, so these are the questions I have. Lucas and Willie, I'm going to ask for your help. Maybe you can feed me, because we're into the Q&A section. You can feed me the questions you want, and then I'll just sit here and respond. And this is how it is when you talk to somebody. I invite people out for coffee all the time, and then I'll just pick their brain. I'll tell them, hey, if you have some time, I'd really like to ask you about social media or about artificial intelligence, you know, or I'd like to ask you about, you know, leadership, because, you know, you're very successful at what you do. Yeah. And then I just, you know, ask questions. Lucas and Willie, can you help me manage the questions, or, you know, like that? Yeah.
All right. All right.
So any particular question? Let me talk about degree or career. I'll just pick one, and then you guys can feed me the next one. Okay. Listen, why does degree and career have to match up, right? You know, the reason why a lot of people end up like this is because early in their career, they decided to become an accounting major, and they have no interest in accounting. They have maybe capability, but there's a big difference between what your competency is and what you have a real interest in or real desire. I have competency to do, again, engineering, math, and science, but this is what my real talent is, and what I have a connection with is more dealing with people, not sitting at a computer like this. And too many people force it. Oh, and it is a slippery slope. You invest a lot in a degree, time, your parents' money, right? The effort. Listen, I spent 4 years of my degree and the 5.5 years in my first job as R&D, almost 10 years. But once I decided that I just could not picture a bright future with it, I could picture a decent job, but not, you know, I wasn't waking up in the morning feeling like, oh, I get to do this. I want to be great at this. I left it like that, you know, and I was lucky because I was only 27 at the time, right? The older you get, the more the burden of responsibility. Now you have house payments, your parents are aging, maybe you have kids, family, you want to buy a house. It gets harder, right? But, you know, I really am a big like encouraging people to pursue what really matters to them, because that's what you're going to work harder at. You're going to care about more. You're going to put more effort into, right? And you know, that's what you're going to become more likely to become great at. It is hard to become great at something, and I have this experience, that you don't care about. Yeah. Or it's just a job, you know. I could tell I was an engineer, But my colleagues, they would go, look at this, and oh, look at the design. If we made this flatter, or just like, we can reduce, or we could use a different material. I was like, it's a mouse. What are you talking about? I have no curiosity about designing this. I only do it because you pay me to do it. It's my job, like that. So yeah. So don't get fixated. If it's not right for you, then why keep investing like in a road that you don't want to travel ultimately, because your career lasts a long time. Last comment, big picture, like I said, listen, I was on an engineering, manufacturing, technical road. If you're on the wrong road, no matter what moves you make, you're not going to get to where you want to go because you're on the wrong road. I'm on this road. If I'm on the right road, I don't know where the turns are. I don't know like what's going to happen, when I'm going to see what I want to ultimately want to do. But if I'm on the right road, then I'll hopefully eventually get there because I'm heading in the right direction. Yeah, like that. Okay. Last thing I'll just say is like, what you see now, I have literally 5 times the energy I have now, double my age back then. When you're in your 20s, you're supposed to be the prime of life and your future ahead of you, energetic. Trust me, I would just be quiet because I have nothing. I'm not interested in what I'm doing. I'm not interested in my situation, like that. Yeah.
Larry, we definitely feel your energy, and it's great. Maybe you could give us a little bit of an insight in what is special if you are a person who want to work in the startup environment, because we're a startup brand. We have a lot of people who want to work in startups, want to start their career in startups. Are there some things you should keep in mind, and are there some specialities about startup and building a successful career in this even more fast-moving environment?
Yeah. So you always start with the big picture in mind. So let me do the contrast. Let's talk about big companies, and let's just use words to describe it. It's corporate, right? It's structured, it's mature, it's developed, right? Maybe it's even bureaucratic, right? It's very process driven. The processes are more, and it's kind of like, you're like, everything is kind of defined more specifically, right? Okay, not a bad environment, right? It's a high quality environment, proven environment and stuff like that, okay? But in a lot of ways, the company tells you what to do, right? Oh, you're ready, we have this, we select you, we provide you, things like that. But in a startup environment, what is that? Fast paced, fast growth, fast changing, innovative, right? You need to be nimble, it's flexible, you need to be open, you need to be kind of like persistent and things like that. So a startup environment is much more self-driven, right? Environment fundamentally. The company is self-driven, but the people in it also need to be that way. We call that like an entrepreneurial growth mindset or orientation, right? But a word I use a lot, and then I think it's a really significant word, is purposeful. People in an entrepreneurial situation, you're going to have to figure out a lot of things. You're going to have to, kind of make it happen, get what you need, make more out of less, things like that. In a big corporate environment, if you're a young person, the company, kind of because there's a lot of structure there, right? There are a lot of resources there. So, it's going to be more like you're just going along for the ride, right? Like that. By the way, that's not a bad thing. But I always tell people, in a startup environment, you need to be more mature. You need to be more independent. You need to have a little more self-confidence, right? Like that. Because if you're always afraid and always nervous, like that, that's probably not a very good match for you. And I know a lot of people, they go into bigger companies because it's safer, it's more stable, it's more predictable. There's nothing wrong with that, But people want a startup because there's more upside. There's like startup environment. Here are the words that describe it. Practical. It's very practical. It's very transparent. We look around, whatever's going to happen good is going to, come from us, right? Number 2, speed, things happen much quicker, right? And then the third one is like, I use 용간, brave. You have to have courage. You have to have a little bit of like, whether you want to say confident, but I like the word courage, you got to be a little bit brave, because you're constantly own changes, challenges, and things like that. By the way, I want to go back to Taylor's question, personal things to work on. Taylor, you know what the significant thing that I was an R&D engineer, sit at a computer, I was in a safe environment, you know, but early in my career, part of my being introverted and shy was I lacked courage. I was afraid of so many things, you know. I was afraid to fail. I was afraid to look bad. I was afraid to make mistakes. I was afraid to embarrass myself. How can you pursue things when you're always like, I was just like always nervous and I was always afraid. And I knew that. So early in my career, the thing that I had to work on was trying to get myself to break through and push myself to go and get involved in these situations. Like I said, ask more questions, engage others more, and get more involved, even though I didn't know what the hell I was doing. Even though I was like, oh my God, like I could fail or embarrass myself, right? But once you go over that, and then after a while you do things as like, well, it didn't turn out like what I thought, but I didn't die. I learned a lot. You know, people encouraged me, people supported me, they liked my effort, they have a positive reaction. And then you start developing this true confidence, right? I always tell people, confidence is earned. So if you're nervous, you're afraid, you don't get over that by thinking about it. You get it over it by engaging situations, getting more familiar with it, getting better at what it takes to be successful in that situation. So that was a big, big thing. You know, it started with my mindset and then just like, you know, because it's about mindset and then behavior. Mindset and behavior. And so I talked about mindset. The behavior was just simple habits. Just force myself to ask questions. Ask questions. And by the way, asking questions is another way to low risk. I don't have any brilliant ideas. That's how I felt. Like, I don't know. My business sense is terrible. But then I oriented myself like to engage the situation. Maybe I could ask a good question. Not only help me learn, but help to clarify the situation. Maybe it could be, you know, something that could bring out some insights from other people to share with the group. Yeah, like that.
Sir, I would like to add something. Like, whenever we will face any people or like anything else in presentation anywhere, at that time we are feeling something inside of us, right? We talked, right? Like, we cannot like present ourselves in normal way. So that time, what should we need to do?
Yeah. By the way, yes. By the way, also to Taylor, like related to say, so if you're an introverted person and things like that, and I was, but I decided I have to go forward. And what do I have to offer? I don't have experience. I don't have expertise. I'm new to this industry. You know what I relied on? I relied on maybe two things. One was just I call it my professionalism, which is my desire to want to support and the success of others, to get a good result, you know, to try to do the very best I could to contribute to situations. And then I just trust my sincerity, real kind of like I want to listen, I want to understand, I want to help you, you know, I want to help you. So I just relied on showing up and just presenting my willingness, my positive orientation to get involved. I don't know what I can do. You probably have to guide me. I might make mistakes. And you know what I found? People would, you know, they can recognize, they could see me better than I could see myself. And I was like, hey, listen, here's what you do. Look through this, go talk to this person, meaning the leaders would provide me with guidance, you know? Yeah. And so I just showed up. I didn't promise anything. I didn't like try to sell myself or try to impress. I just bring my sincere, I'm a hardworking, motivated, self-motivated person. I think I'm reasonably smart, you know? Yeah. And I want to help you guys be successful, or whatever, the company, whatever. Yeah.
That sounds very
so
clear.
I just try to simplify my situation. Again, not overthink. Yeah, go ahead.
So guys, we only have 50 minutes left. So if somebody definitely want to let Larry talk about your question, then please raise your hands or unmute you, and then you have the last chance now to ask maybe the last 1 or 2 questions. So use your chance and go for it.
I would just like to add something to what Larry said. I think the definition of success, you got to find your purpose. And then I think even more important than your purpose is the purpose behind the purpose. So it's like, why do you want to do this? Because oftentimes people may have a purpose to do something, but when the going gets tough, you may give up. But if you have a reason or a purpose behind it, that's what's going to drive you.
Yeah. By the way, when you're saying that, Tez, I was thinking a lot about, well, a lot of people ask me about entrepreneurs and what it takes to be a successful entrepreneur. And what I always say is like exactly what you said is like, you know, our purpose is we want to build and grow a successful business. We want to earn money. We want to be, you know, good, successful businessmen, right? But what is the real purpose? Because when you face really, really difficult times, what is the purpose that's going to sustain you? Like, hey, I really think that this idea will benefit a lot of people, or I really believe that this is an idea that's worthwhile, right? I don't want to let it die. I don't want to give up on it. So you know, a lot of times it's like, you know, sometimes it's like just like it's your desire to see whatever it is that you have to offer or trying to do, you know, really see it out like that. Yeah.
And it has to be personal to you.
Correct. Yeah. A lot of people, it's like, I never pay attention to what other people are doing. I'm curious. I want to know, but it's like, they're not you. You know, everybody, like I said, it's all relative. It's all relative. You know, I learn from people, but if they're doing something that's like, hey, good for you, you know, that works for you, you know, but you know, the successful people I know, they are really in touch with what matters to them, you know, and what they really care about. Yeah, like that. Yeah. By the way, differentiating opportunities versus traps. I think the big thing is like, you know, you look for indicators. You look for indicators, right? And indicators of quality, right? Because that will determine what you get out of a situation, right? So for instance, it's like, maybe I'm going to do a task, but I'm doing it for a person that is working on a very significant project and is somebody I can learn from. So my willingness to do that has to do with my desire to get closer to just to within that guy's circle, like that. And I know people who do that, you know, like that, and they'll do the low level work, right, like that. I remember like this one guy, he said, I was basically the guy in the office. My title might have been the guy who does whatever nobody else wants to do. So that's my title, you know. And then, you know, he was just an entry-level guy. And then his English was pretty good. And so the company was bringing products from overseas, and they had to develop product sheets and translate English to Chinese. And so he volunteered to do this. It's very tedious work. It's not very sexy. But why did he decide to do that work? To translate, you know? No, to learn the products. And then after he got to learn the products, then he approached the sales manager and asked if he could be a sales assistant. Well, he already knew the products. So the sales manager said, yeah, like that, you know, like that. So again, it's like I always tell people, nobody holds a gun to your head and says, you got to do this because somebody, you know, like, a lot of times it's like, you know, says that it's a good opportunity. So it's really important that you have your own judgment. And again, what's right for another person might not necessarily be right for you. And by the way, there are some situations where you have a boss that's asking you to do something and stuff like that. But I've had bosses like that, but I always find my own purpose within his purpose. Well, he wants me to do this, but I'm going to work on quality. I'm going to work on efficiency. I'm going to maybe see how I can improve the process. There are always things that you can pursue with greater purpose, right? Like that. He just wants me to produce like whatever, do all these things, but maybe I can upgrade the process. By the way, You know, the FAQ document I put together? That's an example of like, I didn't invent anything. I didn't create anything. All I did was collect information from, you know, experts. I made it user-friendly, made it convenient, right? That's all I did. And it was viewed as outstanding. You know, during that time, that's how I got expated to Asia. I joined the company. They said, average time 5 years, fast track 3 years. And they sent me out in 15 months because of that, you know, in a downturn, by doing something seemingly, in my mind, anybody could do. Anybody. And that's again, the power of the purpose, you know, like that. Yeah.
That's great. That's great.
What else?
Do we have a last question? Somebody, use your chance. Come on, guys.
Yeah, come on, guys. Yeah.
Are we going to get the PPT for what you've shared, Larry?
Yeah, sure. Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. Happy to. Yeah. How to change jobs and career mindset. Oh, let's see. A definition of success, career change. Yeah. Yeah. Personal things to work on, introverted, networking, degree or career, skills, capabilities to succeed. Yeah. And
maybe one question from my side, because often it's talked about soft skills and everybody tells you soft skills are so important. Could you maybe break down what are the most important soft skills somebody, maybe a student, maybe somebody who just start their career should work on?
Okay. So, you know, this also has to do with, I'm going to tell you skills that I think, number one, transferable. That no matter what your job function, industry, career stage, they are going to apply to almost any situation to help you do something better or be more successful. And they also help you create kind of a competitive advantage, right? Because they're so relevant, okay? So there are a lot of soft skills, but here are some of them. I would say invest in your communication skills and people skills. You know, business is business, but business is done by people, right? And so communication skills, to the ability to express yourself, to influence people, and to kind of motivate people, to attract people's interest and stuff like that applies. Another one is problem-solving skills. Problem-solving skills, right? And again, when you are an entrepreneur, you're facing change, uncertainty, you have to kind of do things better. You have to do things differently to come up with new solutions and ways of doing things, right? So problem-solving skills are extremely transferable. And then I'll just like, you know, there could be a long list, but another one from a skill point of view, okay, is project management skills. Project management is like you take something and you take it from here to there. It has a lot to do with your ability to execute, right? And deliver a result, right? Like, you know, again, how to drive something, how to anticipate kind of areas that you want to try to avoid, how to, again, yeah, just how to coordinate things and get people involved and you know, get them to contribute to the result. Yeah, those are 3 skills. I'm going to give you 3 qualities, right? Like that. I already talked about self-awareness, ownership, and proactive. But in terms of day-to-day, you know, I would say proactive. A second one is resourceful. Resourceful people, like a lot of people think I have to have the greatest idea, you know. No, I didn't have a greatest idea. I always tell people, like, instead of trying to figure it out, think about these 3 questions, okay? And this is what I tell my young people: in order to contribute to a situation towards a solution, think about 3 things. Who knows about it? Who does it well? And where can I find a good example? One of my Plsd concepts or principles is you don't have to reinvent success. Whatever you want to do, somebody's doing it already. Somebody's doing it, okay? Somebody does it well. Somebody knows about it. There is a good example out there, a reference, a case study, something like that. And so I get my people, instead of trying to figure it out, you know, think about who they could learn from, like, particularly if you're a young person. Again, in my situation at Wang Computers, you know, It's all the answers were around me as somebody else. I could have studied it. I could have tried to figure it out myself, but oh my God, you know, first of all, take a long time, and my answers wouldn't have been very good. Why don't I just, go to the source, you know, like that. All right. So, you know, I think proactive, resourceful. And then the other thing I would just do is curious. A lot of people don't, because curious people seek out answers. They seek out knowledge. They seek out understanding. And again, if you watch my Douyin videos, I'll post my social media. If you want to do something well, understand it well first, right? You know, there's a saying, information is power, right? Curious people, they want to know your point of view, what you care about, you know, your pain points, your challenges, your needs. If you know those things, then whatever you do can respond more directly to them, have a bigger impact. Yeah, like that. So yeah, those are proactive, resourceful, curious. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Larry. That's very interesting, and I think it's important for people to understand that innovation and doing something new is not always about invention, but it's just about combining different pieces,
connecting.
And, stay curious and connecting, and that's definitely true. Right.
Absolutely.
Okay, guys. I think we answered a lot of questions. I hope you learned a lot. Maybe now at the end, Larry can tell us how can you contact him, where can you find him, and how you can learn even more from him. So what are your channels, Larry?
Okay. A couple things is, by the way, I asked, Lucas and Willie, just FYI, I actually have an upcoming online online course coming up. It's a live online course, and it's on developing your ability to communicate more effectively and influence others. And, you know, and building up these capabilities and things like that. You know, again, practical approaches for improving these critical soft skills. I mentioned that, you know, your communication and people skills are among the most fundamental skills that will pay off for you throughout your career. And a big emphasis of communicating in business is trying to influence people. You know, when you're selling something, you're influencing. When you're trying to attract interest, you're influencing. When you're motivating people, like subordinates or team members or people from other departments, that's influencing as well. But the course has 4 lessons, 4 2-hour lessons. You know, it starts in mid-July. How to communicate effectively in all business situations. I have a very straightforward, simple communication model. You know. And, you know, that's what that one is about, you know, that applies to any business situation. And whether it's one-on-one, group, meeting, you know, like writing, presentations. Second, developing your ability to influence others. Like I said, a lot of the purpose of communication in business is to, you know, get people to, like what I said. 3, building your key relationships and people skills. People skills is very connected to communication skills, right? The connections you have with people, their ability to trust you, how reliable you are in their eyes, incredible. Yeah. And then the fourth one, how to perform well in cross-cultural situations. So it's 8 hours of online lessons. In addition to these lessons every Thursday, every Tuesday after the lesson, I have these sharing sessions and Q&A sessions, you know, more like this, more like people bring their scenarios, their questions, and it's almost like semi-private coaching, you know, so there's 4 hours of that. I apply the Plsd approach, and, you know, and we keep the workshop or the course to about 20 people. So it's more engaging and interactive, right? Like this. Okay. So it'll help you develop these critical soft skills related to communication skills, people skills, influencing skills. And there's one lesson on cross-cultural situations, applying straightforward practical approach to improve these, and ultimately just to empower you to increase your confidence and ability to you know, communicate, influence others, and perform in different business situations. By the way, the course is, the original price is $1,599. The first 5 people to sign up for this course, we have a discounted price, 300 yuan off, 1,299. Okay, there's an individual lesson price. But in addition to the discount, for people joining this session, so you don't have to be in addition to one of the first people, but we also have a 150 yuan coupon off. So the price to you for the course is $1,149. Okay, we're going to post some of these screenshots in the group, right, like that. But you can scan the QR code if you're interested. Okay, but again, it's 12 hours of interaction with me. Hopefully that's a good thing. Like that, yeah. All right, and we'll definitely get to, yeah, we'll definitely get to know each other better. Yeah, and then the last thing is, like you said, this is my social media. I produce a lot of content, and you know, I have a Douyin account, I have Weibo, I have Zhihu account, things like that. I produce my content in English, and it's translated into Chinese, or my videos have subtitles, but they're very they're all bilingual. Yeah, yeah. All right. So that's me. Yeah. By the way, just to give you a quick peek, this is my Douyin account, and then yeah, and then anything else for the wrap up for you know, Lucas and Willie. Yeah, yeah. But here's my Douyin account. Yeah, it's like this. It's Larry Wang. Yeah, you can see it 1014. And I have these videos on, you know, they're all about career development, leadership, soft skills, pursuing your success in challenging times and situations. Yeah, like that. Yeah. The videos are about a minute to a minute and a half long. Yeah. All right.
All right. Thank you so much, Larry. We definitely saw that you are very well in communications, and I think people could learn a lot from you. I want to thank everybody for tuning in today. If you want to join Subgrind, just write me a message. And yes, let's just stay in touch in the group. And once again, Larry, thank you so much for all this great insight. It was really helpful for me also. And yes, have a great evening, guys.
All right, everybody. Good luck with your career. I've posted my my contacts, and yeah, hopefully I'll have a chance to engage you all in the future again. All right, take care, everybody.
Thank you. We have learned many things. Maybe help to grow our career. Thanks.
I hope helpful. Taylor,
thank you.
You're awesome. Yeah, I really fed off your energy. Your smile is awesome. It gives me a lot of energy. Honestly, sincerely. Yeah. All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right. Encourage you. Yeah. Take care, everyone. Thank you, Lucas and Willie. Thank you so much.
A pleasure. A pleasure.
Yeah.
Thank you for joining us.
All right.
Have a great evening,
Monsieur, thank you for your thank you for your
I am inviting
energy
you to come
contribution.
to give some valuable lecture there.
Oh yeah, sure. Well, contact me. Contact me. Yeah. Again, get more involved, engage others more. Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
May I get your contact number?
I think it's in the chat. My WeChat. You know, it's Larry Wang. At 1014. That's also my WeChat address.
Okay, thank you.
Let me just type it in the chat again. Let's see. Where's my?
You can also find it in the group, in the WeChat group.
Yeah.
You can find it in the group.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah. All right.
All right. Okay. Thank you, everyone.
Great, everybody. Yeah.
A great session with Larry Wang. Thank you, Larry.
You're welcome. Thank you, Willie. Thank you, Lucas. Yeah.
And for more questions or anything else you want to add, you can always drop it on WeChat, and we stay connected.
All right. That's great.
Thank you.
So, Willie?
Thank you.
Willie?
Thank you.
Yes?
Willie, are you still on? Are you?
By the way, Tez, thank you also for you. Yeah, Tez, thank you for your contributions. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, I was Willie, are you the startup grind director in Nanjing?
It's Lucas, and he is online.
Lucas.
Yeah.
It's Lucas, is it?
Yeah.
Are you the startup grind director in Nanjing?
I am currently, yes.
So if somebody wants to be a director in Nanjing, does he have to be physically present in Nanjing?
I think it would be better, because we also do a lot of offline events, and therefore it would be good if you also live here in Nanjing.
Okay, got it. All right.
All right.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you for
Bye-bye,
organizing.
Chris, Taylor,
Bye.
Joseph,
Yeah.
Garabi, Lui, Grace, Elliot, and Xiaojun.
Thank you so much.
A very good evening.
We will close the room now.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.